Hey, Father Augustine, it's great to have you here with us. Nice for you to come by the Life on the Rock here and talk, you know.
It's always a pleasure.
Great, hey, I'm so impressed about what God is doing in your life. Just awesome work.
Me too.
And, you're out there, teaching in a preparatory school. You're doing youth retreats and all that, and you just wrote a book. This is amazing.
I've literally written the book on humility. I even made myself an award.
All right.
It wasn't big enough, so I made a bigger award.
Well, good, great. Hey, humility is truth. We gotta stand on our truth.
It is, and I've had, as a chaplain to a school of teenagers, full of teenagers, I've had quite enough of hearing about self-esteem.
Right.
I think what these kids need is humility.
So there you go.
The title of the book is Humility Rules, St. Benedict's 12-Step Guide to Genuine Self-Esteem.
Yeah, it's an amazing book. Before we get into that, Father, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I grew up in Texas, in Galveston, which just recently got a hurricane, and then ended up going to college at Rice University, studied ancient history, went to Rome, met my first monks, decided to go to grad school, changed my mind, and ended up a monk.
All right.
That's the short version.
Wow.
If you want the long version, you can read the book.
All right, yeah, it's in the book. It's pretty good.
For the low price of...
Yeah, interesting story there. And so now you're teaching right now. What's the school you're teaching at? And
it's called the Priory School. By the way, I teach 7th grade theology.
Right.
And they said, you're going to be on TV. You have to dab for us.
All
so
right.
is it all right if I dab?
Oh, you do some dabbing.
This is for my 7th grade students. All right, good.
All
Got
right.
that out of the way. They're going to go.
That's cool.
They're going to go nuts.
That's great.
I don't even know what it means. I hope it's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
We'll have to Google it after the show.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll edit it out and do some Photoshop or something that.
You can Photoshop my hand, so I'm doing this instead. Yeah, I teach 7th grade theology, 7th grade English, apologetics, and I've got a novel coming out with Ignatius Press as well. So I teach a class on virtue in fiction with the seniors.
And you're also coaching too, huh?
I coach rugby. That's where I picked up the tremors, is 18 years of head trauma.
Okay, and you're suffering with Parkinson's disease.
Yeah, well,
right
I have
now.
Parkinson's. I wouldn't say it's a lot of suffering.
Yeah,
Like cancer, that's suffering. But this is just a shake. Yeah. In 20 years, I should start suffering, but I'll worry about cross that bridge when it comes.
Wow. And, this is amazing. You're able to do the work of God and to do so much, even with the Parkinson's and all. And that's just a testimony of the way God works inside of us,
It's a mixed blessing.
Yeah.
I spent a long time as a professional juggler. And people are always asking me to juggle, and now I just say, I'm sorry, I have Parkinson's.
Oh,
and then it shuts them right up. No more juggling.
Right.
But off the record, I can still juggle.
All right.
Don't tell anybody.
Yeah. And you do youth retreats.
I do.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm giving your retreat in the spring.
That's right. To the staff here. I remember it was I think it was about a year ago almost. I was at the Sister Servants, went to assist with confessions at a youth retreat, and there you were. Yeah. You were talking. I got to sit in one of your talks, and man, you had all these kids engaged, and they were just so captivated by what you were saying, and it was amazing.
Yeah. I spent a couple of years doing stand-up, and I'd much rather deal with teenagers any day than drunk college kids.
But how is that? How is it that you can keep them so engaged and attentive to what you're saying?
I don't know. It's a miracle, really. I can't figure out why they pay attention.
Yeah.
We have an old monk in our monastery who's painfully shy, and they love him more than any of the monks. So I'm increasingly convinced that just being yourself is the best way to get through to a kid.
Yeah, that's right.
And even if what you are is not all that attractive, if you think about these rock stars, they're just pretty. A lot of them are pretty, marginal characters, but they are who they are.
That's
they don't put on. They put on a show, but it's genuine. So,
tell me about your book right there.
St. Benedict, in the middle of the rules, St. Benedict, actually chapter 7, he lists 12 steps. He calls them rungs on a ladder. And the higher you climb, the lower you get.
Right.
And he calls this the ladder of humility. And it starts with fear of the Lord,
right,
and it ends with reverence, which is this perfect symmetry of
virtues
that you build on. And it's really, the longer I live my life by the rule, the more amazed I am at how much wisdom he packed into such a tiny little book.
Right.
I'm particularly fond of the chapter on apologies.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you live with me for more than a day, you'll know why. And if that sounds like false humility, it is.
Well, St. Benedict, he has much to offer. I mean, he was even very influential and inspirational in the life of St. Francis of Assisi. In fact, we consider him as the grandfather of the Franciscan order.
Is that so?
That's right.
Well, I know you owe us the cathedral in Assisi.
Yeah.
I think you still pay us like 2 pigs and a duck or something.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. After the break, we're going to speak a little bit more about the book. We're going to break it open a little bit because you cover some very crucial issues like self-esteem, self-confidence and things like that. And so we'll get to that right after.
Can't wait.
More with Father Augustine after the break.